Solving for a variable. Our objective is to solve a formula for a given variable and solve an equation in two or more variables for one of the other variables. Why learn this? Athletes can rearrange the distance formula to calculate their average speed. Let's look at the steps involved. So step 1, locate the variable you are asked to solve for in the equation. Step 2, identify the operations on this variable and the order in which they are applied. Step 3, use inverse operations to undo operations and isolate the variable. Let's look at this first one in its entirety. In 2004, Ernest Van Dyke won the wheelchair race of the Boston Marathon with a time of about 1.3 hours. The race was about 26.2 miles. What was his average speed? Use the formula d equals RT, so distance equals rate times time, and round your answer to the nearest tenth. So the question asks for speed. First solve the formula d equals RT for R. R is your rate of speed. So it's a good idea to highlight it. They blocked it off in gray. So we want to get R by itself. What are the other things happening with it? Well, currently T is with R and T is being multiplied by R. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by T. When we divide both sides by T, the left side's going to have D divided by T equals R. So now R is all by itself. We can now use this formula and the given information, so the 1.3 hours and 26.2 miles, so our distance and our time, and we can figure out the rate. So 26.2 divided by 1.3, distance and time, will give us our rate, which is about 20.2. So Van Dyke's average speed was about 20.2 miles per hour. Let's try solving formulas for a variable. The formula for Fahrenheit temperature in terms of degrees Celsius is F equals 9/5 times C plus 32. Our objective is to solve for C. So, highlight the one you're trying to look for. So you're trying to solve for C. And now we need to start undoing some things. So we want to undo addition and subtraction first. It doesn't matter that there's an F over here. It just means that you're going to have less things that you're going to combine in terms of like terms. So we want to get rid of this plus 32. So we're going to subtract 32 from both sides of the equation, which leaves us with F minus 32 equals 9/5 times C. We want to still get C by itself, so we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 5/9. And now we can just merely simplify. So 5/9 times F minus 32 equals C. You can distribute the 5/9 if you wish, but it's fine to leave it where it's at. Take a moment and try B on your own. Now that you've had a chance to try B, let's try it together. The formula for a person's typing speed is S equals W minus 10E divided by M, where S is the speed in words per minute, W is the number of words typed, E is number of errors, and M is number of minutes typing. We want to solve this equation for W. Alright, so step 1, locate our W. Alright, and now we want to get W by itself. So let's start by getting rid of the fraction, because it's like this whole thing is in parentheses. Because remember, if you're looking at the top of a fraction, it's assumed to be one clumped value. So we want to start with what's outside of parentheses first. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by m, leaving you with ms equals w minus 10e. Well, we still want to get w by itself. So now we can add 10e to both sides. And when we add 10e to both sides, we end up with ms plus 10e equals w. Let's try solving literal equations for a variable. The other equations that we were solving were actually formulas that stand for different things like distance and rate and time and degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius. These are just straight up equations with a variable or two variables in them or three variables. It doesn't really matter. Now, the same set of rules apply. So you're still going to look at, okay, well, I want to solve for m. Find your variable. Okay, there's my m. Now you want to get m by itself. So what else is on that same side of the equation as m? Well, your n is on the same side of the equation. With that hint, try to finish this problem. Don't forget to pause the video. Alright, so did you get that you needed to add n to both sides, where you ended up resulting with m equals 5 plus n? If you did, congratulations. B is a little bit trickier. It wants you to solve for k, and k is in the denominator. All of our previous problems we've done, we haven't had to move the variable that we're trying to solve for. But you can't leave the k on the bottom or in the denominator and be able to solve for it. So you need to move it first. Alright, so in that case, we're going to multiply both sides by k, which leaves you with m, that's all that's going to be left on your left-hand side, equals, and then you have k times x, because you multiplied both sides by k. Alright, see if you can take it from here. Get k by itself. Alright, if you notice, you have k times x. Since k is the variable you want on its own, you want to undo this x. You want the inverse operation of multiplying, so you're going to divide by x on both sides of the equation. So, in the end, you're left with m divided by x equals k. And that also wraps up our lesson on solving for a variable.